Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you won't miss any exciting upcoming videos. The story of Diep and James continues, filled with emotional twists and unexpected turns. In the previous video, with James's help, Diep was cleared of all accusations, regained her honor, and even got a job at his company, starting a new life as a factory worker. Today, let's find out how Diep's life begins to change and whether her relationship with James will start to grow and take a new turn. Stay tuned and enjoy today's video. Since it was her first day at work, Diep woke up very early and arrived at the company before sunrise. She eagerly got to work, completely unaware that this was actually James's company. While she was struggling to sort out a pile of timber, Diep suddenly caught sight of James walking in. The shock startled her so much that she lost focus and a loaded cart of wood unexpectedly tipped over, crushing her leg. Seeing this, James rushed over to check if Diep was all right. But as soon as she saw him getting closer, Diep panicked and ran away, even leaving her sandal behind near the pile of timber. James immediately chased after her to return the sandal, but suddenly the two collided and both fell to the ground. In that moment of losing balance, James accidentally fell on top of Diep, his lips brushing lightly against her cheek. They both froze, as if an electric shock ran through their bodies, a moment that was both unexpected and awkward. But then, Diep quickly shoved him off, slapped James in a panic, and ran away. James refused to give up, chasing after her to return the sandal, but Diep coldly said, "Throw it from afar." James gave a reluctant smile and tossed the sandal towards her. Diep picked it up and quickly turned away, her heart pounding, unsure if it was because of embarrassment, anger, or a feeling she couldn't quite name that was just starting to bloom. Diep sat alone by the stream, a place she often went to temporarily forget her troubles. She watched the flowing water, her soul seemingly drifting along with it, peaceful and calm. But then, James patiently approached from behind. He didn't speak right away, just gently said, "I mean no harm, I just want to say a few things to you." He sat down next to Diep, and the distance between them seemed closer than ever, though Diep still felt a bit confused inside. James looked at her and softly asked, "Why was your house by the roadside destroyed?" Diep took a deep breath and slowly began to tell him everything about her mother-in-law and how she spoke of being falsely accused of stealing the land documents and being kicked out onto the street. She talked about the pain of having no place to turn, of being exploited and mistreated. After listening, James gently said, "I've already investigated. The thief was Linda, not you. The police won't arrest you anymore, so don't worry." He continued, his voice full of empathy. "I've also heard about your situation, being sold as a wife when you were very young, treated terribly. I understand everything now." He paused for a moment, then gently offered to help Diep. "I'll find you a safer place to stay. You don't have to worry anymore." Diep couldn't hold back her emotions, her eyes sparkling as tears fell. This was the first time she felt true care and kindness from someone. It felt strange, yet warm. She choked back a thank you to James, but words couldn't express everything she felt inside. James gently patted her shoulder, comforting her. "You don't need to thank me. I'm just doing what I think is right." After that, he stood up, saying he had something to take care of and had to leave. Diep just watched his figure fade away, feeling lighter and more hopeful than ever before. After finishing his work, James went to a small house on his plantation. It was a place where workers used to live, but they had left a long time ago. James personally cleaned up the house, preparing it as a new place for Diep to stay. A CEO like him, normally used to giving orders and managing operations, was now spending his time doing manual labor just to help Diep. He even went to the market to buy her a new set of clothes, as if he wanted to give her a fresh start, free from all the worries of the past. After buying everything, James found Diep and drove her to the new house. When Diep saw the clean, cozy home, she couldn't hide the emotions welling up inside her. She was deeply touched and felt incredibly grateful for what James had done. She started tidying up a few more corners of the house to make it feel more comfortable. Meanwhile, James went into the kitchen, bought ingredients, and started cooking by himself. He handed Diep the new clothes and told her to go take a shower. Then he continued preparing the meal for the two of them. They sat down to eat together, chatting softly. It felt like a warm, peaceful family meal, even though they had only just gotten to know each other. After dinner, James said goodbye and left, leaving Diep with a deep sense of peace and gratitude. Even though their evening ended simply, for Diep, it was a truly special moment. The next morning, Diep woke up very early to tidy up the house and garden, carefully tending to every corner of her new home. Not long after, James showed up, carrying breakfast he had gone out early to buy for her. He even peeled a pomelo with his own hands for Diep, a small but heartfelt gesture that caught her by surprise and moved her deeply. After breakfast, the two of them went out to the garden. James offered to help Diep dig the soil and plant vegetables, but having never done manual labor before, he did everything wrong. Diep couldn't help but laugh as she guided him, and soon they were working together under the soft morning sun. In that quiet space, exchanged glances and gentle smiles hinted at something beginning to bloom between them. After a while, James said goodbye and returned to the company to handle work matters. Meanwhile, somewhere else, Pao, Diep's ex-husband, was still living in a drunken stupor, wandering aimlessly. A twisted thought began forming in his mind. He wanted to find Diep and bring her back. At the same time, his cruel mother was also plotting. She remembered how she once sold to buffaloes to buy Diep as a wife, and now she was determined to drag Diep back to work like a buffalo, to serve and obey them once again. That evening, instead of going home to rest, James brought dinner and returned to see Diep. They grilled meat together and talked, the atmosphere warm and tender like that of a real couple in love. Beneath the flickering firelight, their shadows danced close together like the first flames of love beginning to ignite, gentle yet full of promise. Will James and Diep truly step into a new love after all the pain they've endured? Stay tuned for the next part.
Cảm ơn tất cả mọi người rất nhiều vì đã xem hết video hôm nay của mình nha. Xin chúc mọi người xem video vui vẻ và nhớ đăng ký kênh để theo dõi những tập tiếp theo nhé. Và mọi người ơi, thì trong thời gian tới thì mình sẽ ra video nhiều hơn và đầy đặn hơn. Mọi người nhớ bật chuông thông báo để đón xem những tập tiếp theo nha. Và ở tập trước thì mọi người cũng thấy cái tiến trình của tập nó khá là phức tạp. Và trong tập tới thì sẽ còn rất là nhiều tình tiết hay và hấp dẫn hơn. Mọi người nhớ theo dõi hết video, đừng bỏ lỡ cái gì nha. Và mọi người ơi, nhớ chia sẻ video để cho tất cả những người khác cũng có thể được xem những video hay và ý nghĩa như thế này. Và nếu như mọi người có ý kiến cũng như đóng góp gì để mình có thể xây dựng kênh cũng như là làm video gửi đến mọi người một cách hay và tốt đẹp hơn thì mọi người có thể để lại cho mình ở dưới phần bình luận để góp ý nha. Và một lần cuối cùng mình xin cảm ơn tất cả mọi người rất nhiều và xin phép chào tạm biệt mọi người và hẹn gặp lại mọi người ở những video tiếp theo nha. Bye bye.